So earlier today, Attorney General William Barr, Trump's Attorney General, held a press conference on the much-hyped Mueller report. Now, some of people on social media were not happy with some of Barr's answers, especially when it comes to obstruction of justice charges. Now, to give you some context here, the Attorney General revealed that Special Counsel Robert Mueller examined 10 instances of possible obstruction done by President Trump. However, Barr said he and the Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, disagreed with the investigation's legal theories and decided to dismiss them. And since, of course, you had Mueller that couldn't come to a conclusion whether or not there was obstruction and was actually handing it off to Congress to look at that. And I've got a quote here from one of the leading Democrats in the House that's going to infuriate you guys. We'll continue here with what I think about Bill Barr. He's Trump's lackey. I mean, plain and simple, right? Of course he's going to dismiss him. Of course Rosenstein's going to dismiss that. He's doing exactly what he was hired to do, and that is defend Donald Trump. He's acting as if he is basically Trump's personal lawyer, which, ironically, that is exactly the role that he envisioned for Jeff Sessions. And I have an awesome quote, by the way, later on in the show about that. Actually, I want to give that to you right now. This is a quote here from President Trump in the report where he was addressing Jeff Sessions recusing himself. He said, quote, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm effed. How could you do this to me, Jeff? How could you do this to me, Jeff?" He recused himself, and so ultimate act of betrayal, and then of course led to other things, and actually did eventually lead to the special counsel being appointed. So now I want to show you Barr's defense of these obstruction of justice charges, one of them, of course, being firing James Comey. Barr argued that the president had not obstructed justice because he was justifiably frustrated and angered by his sincere belief that the investigation was undermining his presidency, propelled by his political opponents and fueled by illegal leaks. That's the statement from the Attorney General, not Trump's lawyers. That sounded exactly like what somebody who has been assigned to defend Trump sounds like. And so when you get to the, of course, what that statement basically boils down to is, well, the investigation hurt Donald Trump's feelings. So because it hurt his feelings, his delicate feelings, because we know he's a snowflake with a very, very thin skin, it's not a crime. He said, well, he didn't obstruct justice. He didn't obstruct justice by firing James Comey. He didn't obstruct justice by lashing out the DOJ, firing Jeff Sessions for for recusing himself, hiding knowledge of the Trump Tower meeting involving Donald Trump Jr. None of that's considered obstruction. None of the 10 counts that the Mueller investigation found of him possibly obstructing justice were considered obstruction of justice by William Barr. Now, Mueller in the report said he, quote, lacked the confidence to clear Donald Trump of obstruction of justice and said that Congress should take action on at least 10 instances where the president sought to interfere with the probe. So it's up to Congress. However, Bill Barr says, oh no, Trump didn't do anything wrong at all. Now, to get to where the Democrats are on this, Steny Hoyer, one of the top Democrats, I think he's the number 2 Democrat in the House when it comes to Congress actually doing anything about it. He said, quote, impeachment, not worthwhile after seeing Mueller report. I guess we're just not going to do anything. There are 10 counts of obstruction of justice that Mueller says we should probably look into as is our job. And the Democrats, again, blow it. That's the Democratic Party for you. But anyway, so now let's get to some tweets here, because these are fun, especially after this depressing news. Now, Charles Pierce tweeted, "In case you missed it, the Attorney General of the United States just blamed the media for the president's obstruction of justice. This is completely effing amazing, and to me, not amazing, not shocking at all. Of course this was going to happen." Matthew Mueller said, "Never thought I would hear an AG stand up and make excuses for a president's repeated attacks in the DOJ and its lawful investigations. Such a shameful performance." Paul Waldman says, "Barr seems to be arguing that while Trump tried to obstruct justice, that was totally understandable because a lot of people were criticizing him and that made him mad." Ken Tremendous says, "I'll say this, Barr is easily the best press secretary Donald Trump has ever hired." True. Susan Glasser says, "This is news here. AG gives president early secret access to reporting investigating him. Denies co-equal branch of government such access." So Trump's lawyers were literally able to see the report first, which is pretty shady, considering how the president is now calling this a complete and total exoneration. But let's have our lawyers see it first, before anyone else can. Wait, that's an investigation into you. There were an investigation into me, and I wanted to see it before it was made public. I don't think that would happen. Just saying. Garrett M. Graff says, "Barr is embarrassing his office today." B-Boy Bubasi, that's a hard name to say, says, "Trump always wanted an attorney general who would protect him. He got one in William Barr. That's the whole point I've been saying before. That's why he hired Barr. That's why he appointed him to that position." Gary Legham says, "Good news, everyone. The president isn't a crook. He just couldn't handle the pressure of the situation without blowing several gaskets." David Ross says, "Training your whole life from being a loutish teen at an elite boarding school on into your bulky, lawyerly 50s for the moment when you're called upon to stand upon TV and explain that the president, quote, sometimes gets upset because how rude people are to him." So rude. So rude. Bree Newsom Bass says, "Again, Barr's presence as AG in this moment is part of the ongoing effort to obstruct justice. He replaced Sessions, who, though evil and awful and eager to persecute immigrants, did not pass Trump's loyalty test. This entire situation is a farce. It's what dictators do." Jared Yates Sexton says, "The Attorney General isn't supposed to be the president's personal defense attorney, period." And finally, Anand Giraharidis says, "Henhouse safe and under control, according to Fox." Now, serious question. Did any of you expect anything different? We have a government run by crooks. I mean, Donald Trump is clearly a criminal. And that's not hyperbole. He has done crimes. He literally defrauded people out of money with a fake university. No, he's a criminal. And he surrounds himself with criminals. With people, again, you look at all the different indictments and all the people that were in his inner circle that are now serving jail time or have been indicted. I mean, come on. You don't think that he was going to find a way to get the people around him to protect him? Look at Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is a complete liar. Lies all the time. Got busted for his lies. And he lied mostly on behalf of the president. And now I think he's lying to, of course, save himself. So come on, man. He is surrounded by liars and frauds. Donald Trump himself loves those people because, well, he puts those people in those positions in order to protect him, right? And so the one thing he demands is loyalty above all else. So what they do is they run interference for him. They defend him. Sometimes they do illegal things on his behalf. And sometimes they don't. And when they don't, he gets rid of them. So who's left? And the people like Barr who do this stuff on his behalf, this is just another day for them in defending Donald Trump, the criminal in the White House. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.